Hey everyone, welcome to the Invictus podcast. My name is Ari. I'm joined by Jason, and we have quite the topics that we're going to cover today. There's a lot that's gone on in the law enforcement community in the last week and Jiu-Jitsu community. Jason and I are both fired up. There's some stupid shit going on out there, and we got to talk about it. We appreciate all the feedback and people reaching out to us. This week has been crazy for Invictus, and Jason and I were just talking about it before the cameras went on. People are reaching out and there's a shift happening and we're really excited to be a part of it. So Jason, let's talk about the New York Police Department video that they just put out. So obviously you've watched it. For those of you who are unaware of what happened, there's a 7-minute video that the NYPD put out about positions that are now misdemeanors and illegal for police officers to do while on the job. This was put out by city councilors, not by the department themselves. And they obviously had to put this out as a training video for their officers. So Jason and I both saw it, and it is absolutely ridiculous. You can see that the people who made these decisions have no idea what control tactics are, what jiu-jitsu is. So Jason, let's just start. Like, what was your perception when you saw it? And let's go from there, man.
Holy shit. Like, it was crazy. I couldn't believe this is a real video. The guy, clearly the guy who's doing the video has background. You can tell he trains. I mean, there's no question. The guy knows what he's talking about. And I felt really bad for him. I felt very bad for him that he was put in a position to have to demonstrate that video for officers. I think that this is what happens with mob rule. This is what happens when you let a mob of angry people push legislators to define policy for departments in an area and a background they have, or in an area they have zero background in. Clearly, they've never attempted to control another person who's resisting you ever in their life, because they took away any kind of knee on the body. From what I saw, you can't put your knee anywhere on that body. I don't think they outlaw. I think you can put it on the legs. I didn't see them say you can't do that. Not that that does anything for you.
Right.
If you can't control the upper body, there's no point. Let's see.
Well, they talked about compressing the diaphragm. So that's why they got rid of knee on torso, knee on belly, mount position, and back mount.
Back mount from insane, right? But that comes from a lot of ignorance. And we posted a really good article on the myths about positional asphyxiation and how difficult it is to actually induce that on a person. And one person can't do it. Like, it's extremely difficult for one person to do that. Two, maybe if they're trying to do it, or they get into a weird position, maybe. But these people have no idea what they're talking about. And all they did, to be quite honest, is they put more officers' lives at risk, more subjects that we try to arrest, their lives at risk, and the public around them, their lives at risk. Because what's going to happen is people are already more emboldened to start resisting us and fighting us because of this anti-cop wave that has struck North America, or actually worldwide, it seems like, but especially in North America. People are more willing to resist us and fight us now. So that's increasing. And then you put this on top of it. Well, you and I know, and anybody who does, even the most layman police officer that's done the job for a few years and had to arrest people that are resisting, can look at that video and go, that's impossible. I can't control a body like that against a resisting subject. So these officers, they have 3 choices when they're fighting these guys: get indicted, shoot somebody, or get shot. That's the way I look at it. Those 3 areas are going to increase. And so officers are going to get more. There's going to be more officers indicted for this bullshit. There's going to be more shootings both ways because of this bullshit. It's going to happen, and it's going to increase. And it sucks. It sucks for New York. I would leave. I would leave today if I worked there. I would quit. I would not go back to work. I wouldn't risk it. I wouldn't risk getting into an encounter where I could get indicted just for trying to arrest a bad guy.
Right.
That's all that is.
And the crazy thing is, so I wrote about this, that if you take away positional the positional tools that we have in jiu-jitsu are just pure grappling. And even officers that do not have jiu-jitsu, we naturally holding someone down, you're on top of them. Like, you remove that. So let's say you're not going to shoot them. So what do we have to do? We have to go to the next level. We're going to use our baton and smash them, or we're going to punch them in the face, or we're going to OC or taser them. I mean, there's their intermediate weapons and stuff like that. So it is absolutely makes no sense whatsoever. I had put out a question out there because I want to talk to the officer who put out the video, and I did get his email. So we're going to reach out to him because Jason and I would love to chat. As you pointed out, Jay, like, it's written all over his face, man. Like, he didn't want to do it, but the department had to put something out. So it's crazy. So, and those positions, like, I looked, it's like the basic mount. So here's the thing. You get in a confrontation, Jay, with someone, and you go down and you fall down on your back, and they're inside your guard. They're going for your gun, right? You grip your gun, you hold it, you hip bump sweep, and you end up in the mount position, which is now illegal in New York. So do you give up your position because you know that it's a misdemeanor, and you go to an inferior position? Like, it's nuts. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, and that's the thing that's going to go through guys' minds, right? We'll say that situation. So I would think, and I would assume that because the guy's reaching for your weapon, at this point it has escalated to a deadly force situation. So therefore the mount's allowed in deadly force, right? Is that, or no? Are we not allowed to, am I allowed to shoot anybody in deadly force situations now in New York? Or do I have to do the Matrix and be Neo and dodge bullets and willpower everything? Like, I don't know where they're going with all this. That's a really good point. If you get into a dominant position, but you're like, oh crap, because everybody's recording everything, right? These officers, well, I can't do this move because I was taught not to do this. Now this guy's under no rules. The guy he's fighting. So let's just take this into a jiu-jitsu perspective.
Okay.
If you're doing a jiu-jitsu match with somebody, right? And they say, okay, you cannot knee on belly, knee on back. You cannot do mount in any position. Those are taken away from you. But the other guy can do any of that stuff, and he can hit you in the face. So ready? 5 minutes. 1, 2, 3, kabosh. Yeah. Right? What's going to happen?
Wrist locks and leg locks.
Unless you're really good, unless you're really a lot better than the other guy, you're going to freaking lose, right? Or you're just going to dodge and die. It's insane. Like, and Ron McCarthy once, I went to a conference with him one time and was listening to him speak. And I'll never forget this. And I think we've gotten so far away from this, it's frustrating. He was like, never give up the safety for an officer for the benefit of a suspect. Don't ever do it. Yeah. Which is wise words, right? It was a SWAT conference, so we were talking about shoot scenarios and barricaded subjects and all that stuff. But I think it goes all across the spectrum with when we're dealing with subjects. We should never give up our own safety for the benefit of that suspect.
Right.
We're so far beyond that now with these rules that these legislators are coming up with. Like, we're beyond sacrificing our safety. Like, we're just, like, in New York, if you abide by those rules, I don't know, man. Like, I really don't know where you go. Like, you're just going to have to start shooting people when you can't control them. That's what's going to happen. And that's not what I don't think that's what should happen. I don't want that to happen. But that's what's going to be the result, because we already see that problem with guys who aren't trained, right? They get into shoot scenarios that probably could have been avoided with some training.
Right. And
so now you're taking away that much from them. All they got left when they can't control some guy's arm, because that's what the takedowns are like, Aikido style arm, which we know doesn't work. It doesn't work like that on the street. When that doesn't work and you start getting punched in the face, you're going to go to gun. Like, guys are going to go to gun all the time now. And they're just going to, because they don't have anything else, right? They're going to go box. And so they start losing that fight and they're going to go to gun. It just shows the ignorance of the people that created it. It's really frustrating to see.
I would like to actually get into the details of the actual city council sitting around and saying, like, who chatted to them about it. And because that in the chamber, there must have been someone, a police officer that had use of force and saying, listen, these are positions that we're in. And then the city council is going, well, no, it's compressing the diaphragm. They can't breathe. They'll die. Right. And then I'd love to see the back and forth in that. It's crazy. Obviously they made up their mind even going into that meeting.
Yeah. I wonder if they even had a law enforcement representative there, because it's so bad. Like, it's so bad. You got to wonder if they even allowed police in on that discussion. Or
Right.
if they decided that police, because we're the bad guys now, right? We're
Mhm.
so corrupt and we're so racist and we're so bent on shooting people and hurting people. We can't be trusted. So I would not be surprised if in New York they were like, well, we can't let a police officer know these discussions because they're going to try to warp it towards them
Mhm.
and their crooked ways. So we're just going to take in these advisors from whatever, these social justice warrior advisors, and let them tell us how we're supposed to, how police are supposed to arrest people. I can't believe a police officer was even involved in the discussion, other than like an administrator who was kissing ass
Yeah.
to city council because I'm playing politics and go, sure, we'll do that. Just give me that next star. Make me assistant chief next. Make me
Right.
commissioner, whatever they call it in New York City.
So you pointed out, so it's not illegal for suspects or citizens to get the mount position in New York
No,
while fighting a police officer.
I mean, I guess you're resisting arrest, so that's illegal, right? But are they going to get indicted specifically for the mount?
No.
Are they going to get indicted specifically for neon belly or neon back? Or is it just going to be the overall resisting? And I don't know how it is in Canada, but here, resisting almost never gets taken to trial.
Yeah.
It's a charge that you can use to put someone in jail. It almost always gets dropped.
Yeah.
Unless they're punching you in the face, which is assault. I'll just tell you here, that assault almost always gets dropped down to like misdemeanor resisting.
And it's funny because I've actually seen Crown prosecutors and prosecutors say when that charge is put on someone, it comes back or whatever, and they'll be like, well, your profession, you're in a profession, right? You've seen this, you know exactly what I'm saying. You're in a profession where they will fight back. So really, like assaulting police officers, not really a charge, right?
They'll say that, well, it's expected that you're going to get hit. And it's expected that people are going to fight you and resist you. You can't, it's.
I don't think that people are aware of the double standards that actually do exist in the realm.
They
So
think the system is They think that it's a systematically corrupt judicial system that is systemic. I'm sorry, they don't want to use the wrong word and get called an idiot by somebody who's got a freaking doctorate and wants to challenge me on my knowledge of stuff. But no, they're going to tell us that it's a systemic problem in our judicial system, right? They have no idea the crap we put up with on a day-to-day basis and the crap we have to eat that no one gets punished for, right? Because we're expected to take it, right? We're expected to take it. And we kind of had that mindset, right? All right, people are going to call us pig. People are going to call us all kinds of crazy names. People are going to lie to us. People are going to resist us. People are going to spin on us. We're used to all this stuff. It's like part of the job. And we don't even complain about it. We're just like, it's part of the job. The charges are going to get dropped anyway. That's not the main reason we're charging them. We're charging them with something else.
right.
That's the main charge we're going for. This stuff's just stacking on top of it, and they're going to drop it anyway. So we just, we're used to all that crap, and we don't ever complain about it. It's just getting worse. It's just getting worse. It's nuts.
So a few people I have seen, either they've reached out to me or they've posted, and they're not exactly on board with police officers. They may be anti-police, they may be anti-system, whatever. However, they're jiu-jitsu people and they watched the video. So here's the funny thing. Even people who are anti-cop watched it and went, what the fuck are they talking about? Like the mount position, like seriously, right? So if you
because they can look, because they have personal experience in how to control a person.
Right.
So even somebody who hates cops can look at that and go, well, that's impossible. Like, I can't do that. And I'm a brown belt jiu-jitsu. They may be like, I'm a brown belt jiu-jitsu or black belt jiu-jitsu or whatever level they are. They've been training for a while. They can look at that and go, I can't control a person like that. How is this cop who's not even trained going to control someone like that? That's literally fighting,
Yeah.
I mean, at least that's good to see that there's a recognition like, oh, well, I posted on Facebook today. I'm getting very frustrated. So I'm posting more political stuff. Normally I never post anything political, right?
Right.
I put that out on Facebook today. And I think I said something to the effect of, congratulations, all you guys pushing the anti-cop agenda.
Mm-hmm.
You just basically put everybody in NYPD and all the subject they're dealing with at further risk of getting hurt or killed. Because that's exactly what led to this. Everybody thinks, oh, we're not talking about the good cops. We're only talking about the bad cops. No, when you say it, you're talking about all of us. And that's the result. You push hard enough, then you put us in further jeopardy. And man, I'm so frustrated on so many levels. There's just so much to be mad about if you're a cop right now. There's just so much. It's too much. I need a vacation.
Yeah, you do.
One's coming up in about 4 days,
which is going to be super fun.
I'm gonna do my best Jason Minnesota Lakes impression, but around Texas. And I'm just gonna start popping you guys photos of all the swimming holes I'm at and all the chilling out I'm doing for like
Love
7
it.
days.
So good. How long are you going for?
Well, I'm off Friday. So we're gonna pack up the RV Friday. Saturday, my significant other gets off work and we're taking off.
Nice.
And we're gone through all the next week until the following Monday.
Awesome.
So, Texas is a big state.
Yes, it is. It's a great state. Love it.
I'm going to get lost. I'm turning off my phones. I'm turning off my work phone. Let's put it that way. No work emails, no work, nothing.
So I can still send you texts. So that's cool.
You can text me. Okay. There's a few people that are allowed to text me. Yeah.
So what we've done, we've seen a influx on the Invictus Instagram page and website of police officers commenting, and people starting to follow us. I guess it was a few weeks ago, we started putting out things like, so at my school, I'm training police officers for free until they reach blue belt. That's my thing.
Awesome.
So I removed all the barriers whatsoever. So there's no more excuses on our end. And there's a ton of other schools that are doing it. Pete Wilhelm, I think he actually started that in Oklahoma, and then a whole bunch of discounts. And it rippled throughout the jiu-jitsu community. And we got sent posters and they're still coming in. It's like, here's a discount for cops. Here, cops train for free. So there's a ton of places that are pro-police friendly, regardless of the negative stuff that's out there. There's some amazing schools and instructors out there. They're not even cops, and they want to help cops because they know how important jiu-jitsu is for them. So we really appreciate that, and we keep it coming. Because the videos like the New York one that came out, I don't know if that's going to be the last. There's talk in California of something like that happening. I got off the phone with Chad Lyman yesterday, and Nevada is a pretty awesome state too, because he's actually going up to talk to his legislators about use of force and how it works and stuff. And he's a great representative for police.
Oh yeah.
So,
looking at this, I was thinking about this yesterday after we talked, and I was thinking about our federal government decided to come out with these kind of preemptively come out with a bunch of guidelines on how police should do things, right?
Right.
And they clearly did that in a rush because of public scrutiny for PR purposes. Elections are coming up. They're trying to stay up in the polls. We got used as a battering ram there, in my opinion, because they took away the lateral, they took away the carotid restraint, and that's a lot of things, right? I wish they had taken the time to organize a proper advisory council to come up with these things, and have like Chad Lyman would have been person number one to put onto that advisory council to straighten people out and to explain to them how this works and explain to them what's safe and what's not safe and what we need and what we don't need. People like him would have made an enormous difference. And those are the people that need to be consulted, but it's not being done. These are not the people that are being consulted. Mm-hmm. You can tell by the rules that are coming out. You can tell by the guidelines that are coming out. They're not consulting people like Chad. They're not consulting people who are very experienced in defensive tactics and tactics in general law enforcement, who are considered experts in the field, and Chad's one of them. They're not consulting those people. I don't know who they're consulting. I really don't. But it's all politically based. Our lives and the lives of everybody around us. And I don't understand if people understand this. Civilians understand this. Us being allowed to do our job properly keeps everybody safe, including the people we arrest. Mm-hmm. Keeps everybody safe. But when you start doing the stuff like happened in New York City, it makes everything more dangerous. We're already seeing an uptick in shootings. Like New York had a horrible weekend with shootings. Chicago had it even worse. Chicago's always bad, but I think it was extraordinarily bad this weekend. Yeah. This is going to happen in lots of places. You're going to start seeing this happen more and more in lots of places because cops are going to disengage. Cops are going to retire and quit. And it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. They need to start. Please, would they put together some people who know what they're doing to give it to advise on what police officers need,
And that's I don't understand, because we're talking about reforms in policing and the social systems and stuff like that. And you and I are both on board with reforming some things. That's totally cool. So if
Oh yeah, we need reform.
of course, and if we're going to come to the table and you're talking about sending in social workers and this is not a police call, I agree. There are some things that are not police matters that we get,
Oh yeah.
you
There's
know,
stuff.
like Chad and I were talking about this last night. It's kind of like the dog barking. That is not a police call, but we get sent to it all the time, right? There's a ton of things. So if we do want to come together and meet in the middle ground and agree that some things are not police matters, fine. Let's also involve police officers and use of force experts to this discussion about what's proper and what isn't, and look at the science, right? So instead of conjecture, instead of your feelings and what you think is, and you have no experience whatsoever, how about let's be logical about this and let's be fair about it? That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, no, 100%. And we all agree there needs to be police reforms. I don't think when you and I are talking about police reforms, or Chad's talking about police reforms, it's the same thing that somebody who is not in the police world and who's only watching media is talking about. They're looking at things like New York City. Yeah, that's what we need to do. They're looking at defunding. Like, we need to take money away from the department and put it into social programs. That's the reforms that a lot of civilians are talking about, because that's what the media is telling them needs to happen. We're talking about something totally different.
Right.
Yeah, we need to reduce some calls we take, because there's calls that, like you said, the dog barking call, it's ridiculous that we take. I guess it falls under loud noise complaints, but why are we even taking a loud noise complaint?
Right.
What's criminal about loud? I mean, unless it's just, you know what I mean? Like, there's things that need to be looked at. Like, is law enforcement really need to be involved in some of those calls? And I agree. There's calls that we need to review, and like, we probably don't need to be involved in those calls. But the reforms we're talking about require money. They require time. They require training. If you want your cops to perform at the level you think they should perform at, right? And I'm not saying the extreme, every cop is a super samurai with their weapon and without their weapon. Not everybody's going to be a black belt in shooting and a black belt in tactics and a black belt in jiu-jitsu, whatever. That's unrealistic, right? But we need competent training. There's no reason cops across the country can't be proficient in firearms and shooting tactics. It doesn't take a lot of work to become proficient. I'm not saying SWAT level. I'm not saying FBI HRT level. I'm saying proficient in shooting and moving. It doesn't take that much work. It just takes consistent training, which requires money, because you got to pay for ammo and you got to pay for officers' time to train.
Right.
Same thing with defensive tactics. We don't need black belts. Like, I mean, it'd be great, but not going to happen. Yep. You can get guys to a blue belt level within a year of consistent training. They'll be close to a blue belt level, which is more than enough than what you need on the street for 95% of your use of force interactions, right? But what does it require? Time and money. The things the public wants to take from us.
Take away, exactly.
Which is exactly what you need to get the quality of service you want. That's what you need to give, So, but yeah, they're not asking the right people. I really don't know who they're talking to. Mm-hmm. Speaking of people who are clearly receiving bad advice, that seems to be going around a lot lately. But yeah, and this is another situation where I don't know who they're talking to, but they're getting horrible advice, and it's all politically based. It's all politically motivated.
So I'm wondering if someone who doesn't train jiu-jitsu watched that video from the NYPD, what their opinion would be, like, even if they were anti-police, just to watch it and go, okay, a resisting suspect or a suspect, and you can't do a mount position. I wonder what goes through their mind. I'm actually going to start asking some people, and I'm sure people who are watching this, because I'm going to put it on our Facebook, and I have a lot of non-cop friends. Mm-hmm. I'd like to see what they think. It's like, how would you do it? Please tell me, And I've been in the jiu-jitsu game for a long time. I've got 3 decades of martial arts. It's like, please, am I missing something? Let me know. So I want to hear what they have to say.
I'm very curious to hear their responses as well. Who knows? Some of it looks like common sense to me, but I don't know. I've seen some things that are pretty common sense where I hear the feedback is, oh, that cop's a murderer.
Right.
You tell my guy he was trying to save his own life. I'm not talking about Minnesota, because we all agree that guy, whether intentional or unintentional, he murdered that guy.
Yeah.
Talking about like a lot of the regular situations that you and I know are clean shootings or standard use of force situations. I see the public go back, oh, that's horrible. Should never have done that. It's like, well, what would you do? Well, I just let him get away. Okay. So when he goes and tases somebody else and steals their car, and maybe runs somebody else over with that car because you allowed him to leave that scene after disarming you with your own taser and attempting to use it on you and your partner. Oh, by the way, he knocked your partner, gave your partner a concussion, hit him so hard.
Yep.
But yeah, you let that guy go. You know, this is another thing that frustrates me. I hear, well, it was only for, we'll take that situation.
Okay.
So he was drunk in his car. No, he was driving intoxicated, which is serious. You drive intoxicated, you can kill somebody. Well, am I missing something? Haven't we taken that pretty seriously in this country, in your country, for the last 20 years?
Yeah.
Mothers against drunk driving and all the death statistics we see from drunk drivers.
Yeah.
Suddenly, it's not a big deal. That, in fact, I think it was referred to, well, he was asleep in his car. Mm-hmm. No, he passed out in the drive-through of and we're talking about the
Wendy's.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was passed out in a drive-through because he drove there and passed out drunk, which we've all working the job. You see that all the time, right? Guys pass out in their vehicle because they're drunk at stoplights, drive-throughs. Like I've seen all of that. They drove there intoxicated. It was just by good fortune they didn't kill somebody or hurt somebody, right? Or hit somebody. Mm-hmm. They're just good. They're just fortunate and lucky that didn't happen. So they didn't, it wasn't just a drug. And then when the guy fights them and hits an officer and to a concussion, well, now you got felony assault on an officer. Like the charges are going up, and it's not the officer's fault the charges are going up. It's that person's fault. We've removed all responsibility from the people who are committing the crimes, like completely. Because they always fall back on, well, it was only for this offense. Like New York. I think was that Eric Garner in New York?
Yeah.
It was only for selling cigarettes illegally, black market cigarettes. Okay, still against the law, right? So those officers were in the right to detain him and to arrest him for breaking the law. Mm-hmm. Like he was in the wrong. And then when he resisted those officers, he was in the wrong there too. That wasn't the officer's fault that he's resisting arrest. You think those cops, like this is what kills me. Those cops didn't want to fight him. They just wanted to write the citation or whatever it is that they do in New York for black market cigarettes and move on to the next thing. They didn't want to get in a fight with this guy and kill him. He had no intention of doing that or want. But the subjects almost every time, they're the ones that escalate the force. It's like when we roll with a white belt or blue belt, right? Yeah. You're like, they dictate the role. I had this last week. We had a white belt. It's been training a little while, but he's new to our academy. So I always like to roll the new guys to introduce myself, just say, hey, it's friendly, it's cool. You can come talk to me. It doesn't have to be professor and all that stuff. Call me Jason. We're cool. So sure enough, I do my Deadpool. I don't know if you saw that Deadpool meme I posted where he started like this. I always do that, right? And that's why I think it's funny because I'm always doing shit like that, which caught me actually a week ago. I'll tell you about that in the story in a minute. But anyway, so I'm doing that when he comes at me, boom, hard as just balls to the wall, UFC fighter, let's go, roll. And I was like, okay. So I didn't even know. I'm not trying to brag about that. I just say it is a white belt. It doesn't matter. But I don't even know how many times I submitted in that role because it needed to happen, right? Because he dictated the pace of that role. Right. The main thing is if I go with a high-level guy and I'm going, well, I'm going to go hard. Well, guess what? I'm dictating the pace of that role with that guy, and now he's going to give it to me as I'm trying to give it to him, right? So subjects dictate what's happening on the street. The more they resist, the higher the level of force we have to use to counter that. That's on them. That's not on us because we're not trying to escalate that. We never are. I don't know any officer that's trying to escalate that. Don't throw the random situation out me. Yes, there are outliers. There are 90 million contacts a year, some crap in the United States. Yes, there's those situations. But on the 98% whole, no. And in the study we posted on Invictus, it shows the numbers of use of force incidents per how many times we deal with the public. And it's like point oh something percent.
Oh, yeah, it was super low.
So small. Yeah. And I don't think if people understand like how little, like, do you understand how safe you are when you're dealing with a police officer? Like even when you're breaking the law, the odds of it turning a physical fight are super low because all we want to do is cuff you and get you to jail. That's it.
Yeah, I don't want to fight anyone. Honestly,
No.
I never do, you know?
No.
And I make a joke. I always say, don't make me arrest you, right? So it's always on them, right? It's not me looking for it. It's just like, oh God, here we go. And
Yes.
the thing that bothers me, I mean, going back to the shooting in Atlanta and the impaired and the DUI thing, this is where I get pissed off because, you know, showing up on a parent's doorstep, and I've done it, you've done it, and saying that your son or daughter has died because of an impaired investigator, someone's run into them or killed them, it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. And I just want to bring people who are not police officers along for those next of kin notifications. You know, welcome to the world. You know, it's brutal. So preventing that from happening is what we do. And I'm super harsh on impaired drivers. You know, if I find them, pull them over and deal with it. They've never gone crazy or physical or anything like that. But I'm charging you. That's how it's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, that's great. We call them emergency notifications here, next to kin notifications.
Yeah.
And the way we do it is if you make that notification, you're with that family till they have enough people there that you can leave. It's like, you don't just knock on the door. Hey, sorry, Timmy died in a car wreck today. Might want to call the hospital. Have a nice one. It doesn't work. This is the stuff people don't get to see us do. You go in, you say, hey, this is what happened. Let's start making phone calls. You start, if they're religious, you start getting a hold of their churches. So they have a chaplain coming out. You start helping them make phone calls to family members. So, because they're in shock. They're not capable. A lot of people, when that happens, they're in such shock. They're not capable of making these phone calls because their brain is freaking out. You know, they just lost someone they cared and loved about. So you got to start making those phone calls for them. You got to sit at that dining room table with them and comfort them. I've done it. You've done it. Every officer's done his job for a while. I sat at a dining room table with someone who lost someone close to them. You don't even know them. Never met this person before in your life.
Right.
This is just part of your shift. But you have to show that sympathy and that empathy for them. You have to help comfort them and help get them through that night, through that day. I've sat there for hours with people. So we've got enough people there that we know it's safe to leave. And it's, you know, they've got enough support and help. Knocking on neighbors' doors. Hey, can you come over? Like, that's the stuff we do that nobody sees. And that breaks your heart. Like, it breaks your heart to go through that stuff. Mm-hmm. I know it does. It breaks everybody's heart to have to go through that stuff. It's one of the worst parts of our job that no one even knows we do, it seems like. Mm-hmm. One of the main things. Like, that's social. It's like you're a counselor, right? You're a social counselor at that point. You're a chaplain. You're a whatever's needed at that point. You're a human. You're a human being.
You're a human. Exactly. Right.
And people don't see that part of what we do.
So that's the New York video in a nutshell. Jason and I
we're way off on that tangent.
So just when you think that, you know, things are being crazy in the jiu-jitsu world, the law enforcement world, even before that video came out, let's talk about monkey tape. Okay? Because we got to talk about it. It hasn't gone away. Jason and I have not forgotten about it. And let's chat of what happened. So if you're unaware, there's a company called Monkey Tape, and Monkey Tape makes the tape for the fingers and that type of thing. And they've been a long-standing company in the jiu-jitsu world. Many, many athletes use it. It was put out by the owner of the company. He put out a Instagram post, and I'm going to read the Instagram post. It says, "It was brought to my attention yesterday that Monkey Tape had a product online, a patch labeled for Blue Lives. I want to not only take responsibility for this oversight, but share an explanation. I do not support Blue Lives Matter movement. To be honest, I was completely unaware of the roots and foundation of how Blue Lives started. I was ignorant and want to sincerely apologize to anyone who I may have offended. I, like many of us, are learning more and more about our current social issues. For the most part, many of you contacted me with very respectful emails and messages. I want to thank those individuals for bridging the gap of communication and ultimately allowing me to evolve. And I myself and the entire Monkey Sports team stand behind the world built on inclusion and equality." I'm going to read that again. I myself and the entire Monkey Sports team stand behind a world built on inclusion and equality. Black Lives Matter. Respectfully, Julio, the owner. So that came out, and immediately police officers who do jiu-jitsu and people support Blue Lives Matter and policing, it became a sticking point. So Jason, Go ahead. What do you got?
So I got messaged this by a couple people. I was unaware of it at the time. So I guess right after he posted it, it wasn't too long after that, I got a couple messages saying, hey, have you seen this? And I'm not sponsored by Monkey Tape or anything like that, but my professor, Brian Marvin, is. And Julio, the owner, has actually, and this is going to come into play here in a minute as we discuss this, he's actually sent me free product with a thin blue line patch and sticker saying, thank you for everything that you guys do. We really, supportive law enforcement message, right? He was just doing it because he supports law enforcement, which I thought was awesome. They donated to our first seminar. They donated Monkey Tape, and we gave out a shit ton of Monkey Tape at that first seminar because they donated to our first Invictus seminar.
Yep.
So when I saw this, I was in complete shock because I've never seen them anti-law enforcement ever, like anything from them anti-law enforcement ever. But when you read it, it's really disturbing, and it came along. It's part of that anti-cop trend that we've been seeing since Minnesota happened. Everybody's just jumped on this anti-police bandwagon. And it seemed bizarre. So I was pretty upset. So I immediately posted in my story and tagged Monkey Tape in it that I no longer support them. Mm-hmm. I will not support those who abandon and malign us, because that's what they're doing. They're saying that Blue Lives Matter or Blue Lives, that thin blue line sticker is something negative that they need to disassociate themselves from. Mm-hmm. So, and it's playing into this nationwide trend, worldwide trend at some point, of that police officers are bad guys. And we're out there looking to hurt people and abuse our authority, and that we're racist. And I'm pretty much right now. Before that, I'm at the I can't take it anymore. The amount of hate that's being thrown at us, and the things that are being said about us that are not true and that are lies. And I'm tired of it. So when I saw that, I immediately posted in my story that I don't support them anymore. They've abandoned police officers with this statement. And I said, I don't support boycotts. I'm not a boycott guy, but I'm not buying their product anymore. And if you're a police officer, I recommend you don't either. But not boycotting. You can do what you want to do, right?
Right.
So I posted that. Within minutes, Julio messages me. Hey, stop misinterpreting because his first response was not, hey, I don't want you to take the wrong idea. It was, hey, don't, because it was right after he posted it. Hey, don't misrepresent what I said. And my response was, I'm not misrepresenting. You said what you said. There's not a misrepresentation. I was like, I've already been I told him, I've already been contacted by several officers who are extremely disturbed by this. So I'm not the only one reading it this way.
Yeah.
You kept trying to convince us that we're reading it the wrong way. Mm-hmm. No, we're not. We're not reading it the wrong way. So so we looked more into it. He started talking to me more and was like, he was informed that Blue Lives Matter was founded as a counter to BLM, to Black Lives Matter, which I think there is some factual basis to that, but not in a hateful way. My understanding is that it was founded to counter the inaccurate claims that BLM was making about police officers. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of negativity. I don't remember, I think it was 2016 when we started having officers murdered in the street. We had 5 one night in Dallas. Yeah. Louisiana, I think Baton Rouge had 4 in one afternoon. Another place had 3. There was just suddenly officers were getting ambushed. New York had those 2 officers that were ambushed in their car. It suddenly became a trend to ambush officers, right? And this was all stemming from the rise of the BLM movement. So Blue Lives Matter was saying, hold up. You don't get to attack police officers because you think there's an injustice happening. You don't get to just assassinate police officers on the street. That's kind of my understanding of how they came out to be. There was nothing racist about it. There was nothing negative about it. It was just trying to highlight that police officers are, what we just said earlier, human too. Police officers are human beings out there. Don't get just attack them because they're wearing a uniform. But under his understanding, that Blue Lives Matter is counter and I guess racist, is for lack of a better description from what he was trying to tell me. And I said, I don't believe that's what it is. I don't understand it to be that way. Regardless, you're still abandoning police officers. with this statement. It wasn't even necessary. Like, I don't understand why he did it. I found out later that he had consulted with 2 other people that helped him formulate that first statement. So he didn't do it on his own. He had help from 2 people. I don't know who they were, but I think they informed him very badly and very poorly, not just from a business perspective, but from a moral perspective. I think that he was very poorly informed on making that statement.
And so previously he had, supported police officers. He gladly took police officers' money.
A lot of money from police officers.
And so, and he was privately messaging you, the Invictus, like a lot of people, about how he supported police officers. He was doing this privately, right?
Right.
Through messaging. He did put out a second statement about what this was about. And he said that he still supports police officers and stuff like that. However, I believe it's disingenuous. That's my opinion. I think the damage has been done. His, like the ratings on his Facebook, went from like 4.7 out of 5 to 1.0 or whatever it is, so we as consumers, because we are consumers as well, we will speak with our pocketbooks and how we believe. Now, I'm going to bring up Chad again. Now, Chad Lyman posted this incredible counterpoint to Julio on his page, and it is crazy. It's still there. I don't know if they can remove it or not, but Chad basically went in talking about what the Blue Lives, what it means, and talking about what police officers go through, and it's crazy. And when Chad comes around and is knocking at your door, who's one of the foremost experts of jiu-jitsu and policing in our world, you should listen. So in a nutshell, it pissed us off. And we have chosen not to use monkey tape as our brand. Now, as such, we're going to allude to something. So I'm going to mention the players involved. So myself and Jason from Jiu-Jitsu 5.0, fantastic channel, and our friend Mike the Cop, which most of you probably already know, decided to get together and do something about it. And I'm going to skirt around the issue because we're going to do an official announcement, but we've decided to take into our own hands that police officers, those who support police, and those who support inclusion need a new tape company. So we're going to provide that for you. The announcement is coming down the pipeline, and Jay and I are really, really excited for it. So
that's going to be great. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time with it. I think everybody will really enjoy it, and it's sorely needed. Going back to the monkey tape thing. So he called me. I gave him the option to call me before he made his second statement.
Yeah.
And I talked to him. I'm not going to divulge details because it was a conversation between him and I.
Yeah.
Basically, the sum of it was, he supports us. He's always supported law enforcement and the military, and he likes to bring up some of the other things he's done for charity work and some of the other organizations that he supported, which that's fantastic that you're doing those things. It's good, but it doesn't take away what you just did, and whether that's your true belief, because what he told me through private messaging is very different from what he posted.
Okay.
I would say it's completely counter to what he posted.
Interesting.
So it's like, I'm not going to post what our private conversation was, but what that told me was his primary concern was his pocketbook and not his integrity and not taking a proper moral stance. He was more concerned with his pocketbook than anything else. And then when his pocketbook was affected, counter to the way he thought it was going to be affected when he made the statement, he tried to backtrack a little bit. But I don't know if you noticed in that apology, the thing that really stuck in my craw the most, he attempted to blame the people who responded to his initial statement for what he's going through now. He also said he was dragged into this, which I took a huge amount of offense to, saying you were dragged into this. No one asked you to make a statement. First of all, you're not the only company that was taking heat from social justice groups about being supportive of law enforcement.
Right.
I know several people who directly been taking heat, and they just ignore them. And they're going to run their business the way they want to run their business. They ignore them. And guess what happens? Nothing. The social justice group, once they realize nothing's coming from it and they really can't affect it, they go to the next target.
Right.
Well, monkey tape, caved pretty quickly because they got a little bit of heat and they got scared that they were going to be labeled whatever way they thought they were going to be labeled.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they reacted the way they reacted. I don't think there was no moral principle to what they did either way. Like it wasn't a principle-based decision to say we're removing thin blue line and you know Black Lives Matter. I don't know what's in his heart. I just know what he messaged me, and I don't think he was taking a principled stand either way. I think he's just trying to save money. He's trying to make money one way or another, and he thought his product was in danger. Now it is in danger. Now it's legitimately in danger because he had no spine. And I'll say that. I mean, you had no spine, Julio. Zero spine. I have zero respect for you. I'm sorry. I have zero respect for that. And I understand some of my friends are still supporting Monkey Tape, which is fine. That's personal choice.
Totally.
But I got zero respect for you. And I'm not gonna support a company that will throw us under the bus at just a little bit of heat. If you could experience, Chad brought this up to them in his statement. If you could experience, you experienced a tiny bit of what we deal with on an everyday basis.
Mm-hmm.
What cops deal with that kind of heat all the time. Every day you're on the street. The complaints we all receive, like every one of us gets BS complaints on us constantly.
Yep.
I won't say constantly, but we all get BS complaints. If you do the job long enough, people are accusing you of racism, of all kinds of stuff. We just take it as it's part of the job. People are going to say what they're going to say. Just do your job right and you'll be fine. So we take that heat all the time. You take a little bit of heat from a social justice group and your spine turned into a jellyfish. I don't even know what to say, but that was terrible.
So we talked about this, and it is his company. He can do whatever he wants with it, and I don't have a problem with that, right? So that's fine. But the thing that I had brought up to you, then I just found really curious when he initially said it was brought to my attention that yesterday that Monkey Tape had a product online, a patch labeled Blue Lives. It almost sounds like he was unaware that he had a product that had a Blue Lives patch. It was an oversight, and he's taking responsibility for it, like an oversight. This is where I find this weird.
Multiple people called him out for lying. That was another example of a lie. Because and I'll have to go find it. I need to find it just so I can post. Well, I told him I wasn't going to post anymore about him. So I'm going to stick with that. But I had a personal note from him, signed Julio, from that thin blue line stuff with the thin blue line sticker and patch in it. Mm-hmm. Thank you for the service, blah, 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 blah. Right? From him, from the owner of the company.
Yeah.
Don't tell me you didn't know that existed. You sent me a patch from it. Or did your assistant send me a patch? Maybe that was what happened. Your assistant just signed your name. I don't know. Don't tell me your company's not that big, first of all. Yeah. It's not like this. It's not like freaking Amazon.
Yeah.
And you don't know what's going on down the pipe, right? We're talking, how big is Monkey Tape? You're talking what? What do they got? 5 employees probably running that. I mean, you don't need a lot because they're just ordering it from another distributor who produces the tape.
Right.
And they slap their patch on it and ship it out. That's what the fuck's happening. You don't need a crap ton of people to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, because you and I know, Jason, Mike, everybody that do this stuff on the side, we all know what it takes. You're doing it yourself, or you're having a couple of people help you. Mm-hmm. You're not ignorant of what's happening. It's not like he's in a giant warehouse where they're literally making tape and rolling it up.
Right.
That's not fucking happening.
Yeah.
He's probably doing this shit out of his fucking garage.
Yep.
He doesn't have like a business building he's running. Maybe he does. I could be wrong, but I doubt it. Why would you pay for an office space in California, no doubt, if you didn't have to? You wouldn't, because it's a crazy amount of rent money you'd have to pay just to ship out some tape when you can have people do it for you for a lot less. Stupid. And he's lying. And some other people called him out on that. So There's no way you didn't know because of their experience with him. So, and for him to, I'm so mad. I'm so frustrated because of the backtracking that he said. The thing that made me the most mad was him blaming other people for this happening to him. I can't take that. Like as a police officer, and like the number one thing in our job is integrity. When an officer doesn't have integrity, he doesn't last long usually, right? He usually gets found out. He usually gets run out or something, or he gets fired, right? Because eventually it's going to catch up to you, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to have integrity. You have to have a background. You have to be willing to stand up and to do what's right when it's difficult. That's what makes you successful in this job. So when you see people with zero integrity act that way, I just have, especially related to police officers, no respect at all. None. And I don't care. Like, I don't care that some other people are they're going to say, hey, he just made a mistake, or, I know him. He's a good guy. I've known him a long time. Maybe he is a good guy, but he's got no integrity and he's got no spine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not associating myself with someone like that. I have no use for you, especially when we're being attacked, the way we're being attacked. I don't need friends like that. I don't need associations like that. I need associations of solid people.
Right.
He's not one of them.
Yep. I agree.
know I'm going hard on him.
Yep.
I don't even know him personally, but just based on this stuff right here, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me as someone who, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I mean, we live in a free market, and he's created a vacuum, and we're going to fill it. And so that's just how it's going to work. And people can buy monkey tape. It's like, that's fine, right? They can buy our tape. That's fine too. So there's a company out there for you, whatever you want to do. And we should be very clear that whatever your political beliefs are, I mean, like he brought that to the forefront, and that's on him, and that's totally cool. Jason and I right now are giving our opinions. There are personal opinions about what's going on in the world. Some of you disagree with it, and that is fine too. So again, welcome to a free market. Welcome to freedom, which is absolutely amazing. Thank you for that. So, okay. So monkey tape, we're going to move on from that. And we're finally going to move to what we're doing for Invictus and what kind of merchandise that we have coming down. We have an association with one of the best companies out there, Origin. Love them, based out in Maine. And we are going to be doing some new rash guards and some new spats with them. And they're currently in design. So the people have been clamoring. It's like, when's your next rash guards coming out? And then Jason's like, we got to get spats too. And I'm like, yeah, we do. And so,
I need the full outfit, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So Origin makes great stuff. So they're going to do that. I think probably later on the year, we're going to talk about doing another run of gis. We obviously have to stagger it, and we do our best. It's Jason and I running the show here. So we both work full time. So that's what's coming. I've ordered some Invictus flags. Those are coming. Some new stickers are coming. I've ordered some, finally done it. I've ordered some patches with Velcro on the back so you can put on stuff. So that's going to be awesome.
Yeah. All right, we got some hats coming, get some new shirt designs. I'm actually going to be working. We're going to be working on some shirt designs a little bit later today, trying to get something a little bit different out there. Some different style hats, just whatever, some different style stuff to get out there. The COVID thing kind of, for us, I guess it kind of put a hold on stuff because like Origin, they dived straight into helping out with they kind of stopped production on a lot of stuff and just started focusing on making masks and material that people, and the first responders needed, which was awesome. Another reason to love Origin. Yeah. They go by they have a moral compass, and they use integrity to make decisions. They don't do it based on what's financially the most viable for them. I mean, they do, but they don't sacrifice their morals and integrity to do it. Of course, they're run by Jocko and Pete. So we have two guys that there's plenty of backbone there. So that's fantastic. But yeah, they had to put a hold on stuff. They kind of put a hold on some of our stuff that we could get out to you guys. But now that even though we're kind of still in the middle of COVID, we're finally in that phase where everybody's moving forward and training. Everybody's getting back to normal production stuff. So yeah, more stuff's coming out. I'm excited about the rash guard and spats because I know they're putting their design crew on it. So it's going to be something cool, obviously. Yeah. Their material that they use is awesome. They use great stuff. I love their no-gi stuff. It's fantastic. Yeah. And yeah, we'll get some more stuff out to you guys, and I'm excited about it. I'm excited to get out of this so we can get back to seminars too.
Yeah, I think that when we start doing the seminars again and we start rebooking, like wherever we land, that one is going to be huge. I can feel it.
It's going to be probably bigger than the first one.
Oh yeah,
because we've grown, and people training jiu-jitsu's grown. The number of officers training jiu-jitsu has grown since then, and there's even a stronger emphasis on officers training jiu-jitsu. I think for the most part around the country, there's definitely been this push of finding a martial art that translates well to law enforcement. And of course, it's kind of, I think, knowledge now that, hey, it's jiu-jitsu. You got to have guys training jiu-jitsu. So I think all those factors, and people who we had a refund for their seminars. This last time we had 2, we had to refund everything back. Yep. I know they're going to be chomping at the bit to go to a seminar. And so all these guys are going to want to come, and we're going to have to make sure we get a really big space so we can accommodate as many people as possible, because we're all going to be so excited to just freaking meet back up and train. And have a good time like we always do.
And we're not exactly sure when that's going to happen. We obviously the restrictions have to ease enough that travel and there's no quarantine when you travel and all that stuff. So that's going to happen. But if you want to reach out to Jason and I and you have any questions or you want to talk about policing, you can contact us through our Instagram page, which is InvictusLEO_official. We have our website, which is InvictusLEO.com. You can reach Jason, BJJ Cop, on his Instagram. He's super approachable. He's always getting back to you. So those are just ways to contact us. So we're excited about the future, and fuck 2020 and let's look at 2021.
July. We're past July 4th.
I know.
And we're still in the middle of this stuff.
I know.
It's so crazy. Between COVID and the protests and everything else, I don't know. This is such a crazy year. It's going to be gone, and it's going to be like, what happened? Like, it's going to be like a year that didn't even, it's like nothing happened that year, but everything happened that year.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, we're all locked down while the world around us was imploding.
Yeah.
Then when it recovered, when the dust settled, we jumped back out. Oh, it's 2021. Here we are. What happened?
It's like peeking and going, is it safe?
I saw it. So I was looking for, so my Iceland trip got canceled. I was supposed to go to Iceland next week.
It did.
Because the EU came down and said they will only essential travel from America. Not from Canada, from the United States. So only essential travel from the United States.
Shit. I didn't know that.
I lost my Iceland trip. We don't get to go. So, yeah. That's why I'm going on this Texas tour for like a week and a half.
That's what I was wondering.
That's replacing Iceland, which is fine. Yeah. It's going to be a good time. So, I'm doing the Texas Swimming Hole National Park.
Awesome.
Whatever else tour to make it up. It's going to be a great time. But so I lost to Iceland. So that's 2020 in a nutshell for me right there. I'll go next year. I'll go next year. Sure.
Well, Jay, thanks for sitting down, and we thank all the viewers for checking us out. So remember, follow us, the Invictus movement, BJJ Make It Mandatory, and we're getting bigger and better. So again, reach out to us, and we'll bring you more articles, more information, and more stuff about jiu-jitsu and policing.